Fairy Tale The Hundred Years Quest continues on with Chapter 11, titled Blade Armor Ash, in representation of the Dragon Eaters Guild, who Diablos, who continue on with their assault on the forces of Fairy Tale, who are trying to protect the Holy Pentadrake, um, Malkovia, Mercuphobia. Sorry. Um, we open up with this nice little cover page of Juvia cuddling up to Gray, her beloved Gray. But in the actual chapter, it's a little more dire, as Kyrie has cut through Ezra's strength. I say that with quotation marks, but it seems to be in a more literal sense, and she's getting a very sadistic pleasure out of seeing Ezra beg and scrape. Wendy immediately goes into her dragon force mode. Um, and, the various girls, Charla and Lucy, do their best in order to try to fend off Kyrie. However, Kyrie proves to be a little too tough, and she sends out a blade dragon's roar, which causes a mass of just energy blades to just go flying out, in all manner of direction. Even managing to get Mercuphobia as he tries to get Carameli out of the way of the attack. So she pretty much just takes down everyone in that one instance. Meanwhile, we cut back to Gray and the Scullion Raider going at it underwater. And for the most part, I do enjoy these characters, the villain characters, Power, because, they seem very capable. But, we're running into a lot of old Mishima tropes where he has them feel a little too powerful to the point where it's almost just like, well, would it make sense for our heroes to come out on top? And the answer is usually through some old bullshit, because here's the Scullion Raider is just turning everything Gray throws at him to ash. And I'm sorry to say that actual ash does not work that way. You need carbon in order to create ash, and it's just like that's not how that works. I get that it's magic, but at least have some kind of practicality behind it. It's like, how are you turning things to ash underwater? How are you turning ice to ash underwater? This combination of events just doesn't make that much sense in my head. Just like that just doesn't work. I mean, it's cool, don't get me wrong. Scullion Raider looks like a bit of a badass here and there. And we even have him go up against Gray's Devil Slayer form. Well, Demon Slayer form. And the Scullion Raider just tanks this. But the downside to this is the fact that, if Kyrie, Mad Moria, and the Scullion Raider are so capable to take down all the Fairy Tale members at their peak, then it's just like, how do you defeat them without it feeling like an ass pull? I'm sorry, but it's just like, what edge would they have against them when they're pretty much pulling out all the stops against these dudes? And ridiculous upon ridiculous, the Scullion Raider just responds to Gray's Demon Slayer form by just turning the entire ocean into ash. Which, Gray's like, impossible. And I'm like, yeah, that really is impossible. How do you do this? That's not how. What? How does that even work? I do not understand. Ash, no, water, what? No, what? Just doesn't make any sense to me. And then Gray sends out this flash freeze saying that, whenever you turn to ash, I'll just freeze again. And Scully and Ray's just like, whenever you freeze, I'll just turn to ash again. And it's just like so on and so forth until infinity and ad nauseum, until the heat depth of the universe. Until Scully and Raiders basically just like, you got Devil Slayer powers. I'm after Dragon Slayers. So, yeah, I'm just gonna waste you and be done with it. And he unleashes this attack called Black Ash, which turns Gray to ash. And it's just like, how is Gray dead? Because he should be dead. He got turned to ash. How do you come back from that? Like, so either Gray's straight up diggity diggity dead, or he's gonna come back in some bullshit manner. And it's just like, give me at least some good explanation for Gray returning from something like that and not just dying. Cause it's just like, but how did they beat these people? Not to mention the fact that Kyrie just sliced everyone up to holy hell, but everyone really just has like light cuts on their body, and just like with how deep Kyrie's cuts went in all the rock and stone and all that good stuff, someone should have lost a limb or something. But, I'm nitpicking so much of this, but it's just because I want this to be good. I want this to make sense, be clearly defined, and actually have people rooting for this newer story. But it's so hard to defend because I'm calling out these things simply because I know other people are calling out these things. And, it's just like, I want to see this animated because ultimately the anime has always just done a better job in portraying a lot of this stuff than the manga, and that's always a sad part. Like, I love Hiro Mishima and his work so much, but there's just so many gaping flaws here, and I need something solid in order to make the defeat of the Diablos Guild actually make sense. And we cap things off with Jalal finally meeting up with Toka, the White Witch. What is Toka? Who is Toka? Why is Toka? Like, what's her role in all of this? I get that she stole the powers of Mercuphobia, but to what end? Just to chase down Natsu? Is she trying to grant him some power or something? What's going on here? And if they couldn't even take down the three stooges over here from the Diablos Guild, how are they gonna even, go about sealing any of the Holy Pentadrakes? Because we're still on number one, and we're just watching our characters get their asses kicked by another raid party trying to steal their XP. Like, they straight up got PK'd by a stronger, a higher level party. Like, dude, come on. These are the guys who ended up taking down the Demon Dragon Acnologia, but you're really not selling anyone on that at this moment. So it'll be interesting to see where this whole plot line goes, where it ends up, how they manage to take down the Diablos Guild, because it's just like, it's that same rinse and repeat way of storytelling where it's just like, here's the new villains. The new villains completely wreck our heroes. Our heroes come back, manage to wreck the villains, despite the fact that they had already taken on these guys before and got their butts whooped. Somehow it was different the second time around. But, and what do you think about Toka the White Witch? What role will she have to play in all this? Will it actually be meaningful? I really hope so. But again, tell me your thoughts in the comment section below. And if you liked what I had to say about this episode, leave me a like. I sense a lot of dislikes coming just because I was really hating on this chapter, and like I don't want to hate on this chapter, but it's just like it's same old fairy tale tricks. I'm always entertained by fairy tale, but it's just like, well, we're just rolling through the motions all over again. And if you don't like what I'm saying about that, go ahead and dislike the video. And hey, feel free to subscribe for more chapters of Fairy Tale: The 100 Years Quest. Thanks for joining me.